Oh my God. I just had this amazing dream where I was back in Europe and I was owning a house in Spain. It was great. Many people have many dreams, right? But wouldn't it be nice for that dream to become an actual reality? Well, today I'm going to be giving you a 6-month strategy plan. So today I'm going to give you a 6-month strategy plan in order to make your dreams a concrete solution. Hey everyone, looks like we're gonna be joined by my little monkey, Shvili, right? Shvili. And he is gonna be helping us provide you all with a 6-month strategy. And he likes his massages too. I would treat this kind of like I did when I was training for a marathon. It's definitely a good pace in which you can get yourself prepared and ready to leave the country, but it's by no means a Bible. But I really highly recommend that you all really look ahead in terms of doing what is necessary so that you're not stressing through each part, because there's a lot of components involved in order to literally uproot your life to another country. And so this guide is really going to be helpful for you to really ease through this process. And I will be providing a hard copy of this strategy plan to all of those who would like to have it. So feel free to email me at the email below to get your own copy. All right, so without further ado, let's dive in. All right, so we are 6 months away from moving to another country, right? So take this time to do as much research as possible. Now, you are, debating on what your goals are, right? So looking at your goals, this is going to be a good time to really understand what your values are in life and what you really appreciate. In terms of connections versus distance, in terms of attending life milestone occasions, aka weddings, birthdays, holidays, etc. This is really important to family members and friends, right? So if moving to another country is going to be to a point where you won't be able to do this, that is something that you can take into consideration. Secondly, are you comfortable with adventure? Or are you the kind of person that really has a very rigid schedule and is not really willing to give that up? So in terms of learned versus new, this is basically in terms of your culture. You have been taught, speaking a specific language, you have these cultural norms that you abide by, shaking hands versus bowing. These are all differences in our culture and, within our business settings as well. There's a lot of things that you're going to have to learn again. So are you comfortable with having to learn and being basically a newcomer to a new culture? Short-term versus long-term. This is something that is very doable. If you want to just test out the waters, a 3-month visa is basically a tourist visa, and you can definitely do that. So doing the research as to what countries are open right now, accepting tourists, Europe is basically almost on the verge of allowing tourists to come into their country. So if this is what you're looking for within the next couple of months, do your research in terms of looking into that. Hey, no. Materials versus experiences. What do you value more? Do you like to have a house full of things, or would you literally just sell everything at the drop of the hat to move abroad and experience new culture? Each person has their own values in terms of owning physical things or experiencing kind of non-tangible experiences abroad. I myself would literally sell everything to move to another country and experience something new. But someone else would love to just rather have a house and kind of gain those assets in terms of building a life. I've really basically made a pros and cons list of what my lifestyle is now and what I want it to be moving forward. In terms of moving and selecting your country of research, I think it'd be really important to understand distance from home and work. If you have clients that are all based in California and you're living in, Eastern Europe, for instance, like it's going to be a really hard time to really juggle those time zones. But it's really dependent on your type of work based on your schedule, where your client base is, etc., in terms of kind of understanding that. Obviously, home and your friends and family would also be a good thing to consider if you're very close with them and you want to keep in close contact with them. I have a brother who is living out in Vietnam, and so he's basically 12 hours ahead from where I am. So it's pretty easy to kind of calculate that in terms of scheduling times to talk with him. But just understanding, you're going to have to be cognizant of these different time zones and connecting with both work and family and friends. Climate and geography, I think this is basically self-explanatory. Culture and language, this is something that I kind of mentioned in terms of the learn versus new. If you're kind of comfortable learning a completely new language, there's a lot of amazing language apps out there. I personally used Duolingo to learn French. I never learned it in school or in university. And it was just basically through that and a mixture of trying to, meet up with French people in Boston, where I was living prior to moving to France, and speak as much as possible. So that's the only way that you're going to be able to learn, is to really put yourself out there and try to meet new people. Career opportunities. So what countries are accepting entrepreneurial type visas who are literally working online? They do not need to have any sponsorship from any organizations in that home country. They can work from their computer anywhere in the world. That's one option. Another option is to actually look for countries who are hiring. France, for instance, when I was there, they had La French Tech visa. And so this is for people who are working more in the startup space. There are so many countries out there who are really willing to open up their economy to foreigners, right? So do your research in terms of what opportunities are there, because based on what you're looking for, right? Like if you are seeking a job right now, there are countries that are open to hire. Tying into that last piece is visa sponsorship. So let's say you have the job, now who's going to sponsor you? So based on what that situation is, I definitely went into Nomad Visa in my previous episodes here. But that's by no means the only way in which you can get visa sponsorship. So again, there's a lot of resources out there. What I've mentioned in some previous episodes is looking into Chamber of Commerce organizations. So like, for instance, I went through the French American Chamber of Commerce to get my visa sponsorship when I was living in Paris. I would highly suggest you putting in your home country, the country that you're looking for, Chamber of Commerce, and there's always going to be some bilateral connections between countries. And so that's a really good place to start.